We're talking about this throughout the programme. The First Minister is in Washington, D.C. today. She's going to make a speech to mark 6 months since COP26, but she's also there to encourage more US businesses to invest in Scotland. Nicola Sturgeon's going to speak at the Brookings Institute think tank, and she's going to meet congressional groups and business leaders during her 2-day visit. Now, a previous trade row between the prior Trump administration and the UK lost the Scotch whisky industry more than £600 million in exports. Ian Houston is president of the Scottish Business Network US and a member of the Global Scot Network of worldwide Scottish business leaders.
Well, first of all, I believe the First Minister's visit to Washington is following a successful visit from the Minister Angus Robertson last month as part of Tartan Week and Tartan Day. And so it's been 3 years since she has been to Washington. 3 years ago, it was a very effective trip that she had. I have no doubt this will be the same. From my perspective, Nicola Sturgeon is a very effective advocate for the interests and values of Scotland on an international stage. And I've seen that and witnessed it up close. But I also know that there are many voices from across political parties and economic sectors in Scotland and the UK who are persuasive and effective messengers in the international realm for communicating what Scotland has to offer. Given
that we're still working on a UK-US trade agreement, post-Brexit, that is the UK government's responsibility. So what can the First Minister really do here in terms of anything concrete or solid, or is it not about that?
Well, when it comes to trade, it's so very important for the United States to understand the value that what Scotland brings as far as a trading nation itself and engagement directly with the United States, of innovative companies, of entrepreneurship, of growth sectors, of cities and regional sectors within Scotland. That's so vitally important for the U.S. as we engage in a trading relationship with Scotland to understand that Scotland has these attributes and sectors that are growing. When I think about Scotland as being, say, where it ranks for foreign direct investment, Scotland has reinforced its position as being the most attractive location for inward investment in the UK outside of London. And Edinburgh is ranked number one outside of London for FDI projects, but Aberdeen and Glasgow will be right up there as well. That's important for the First Minister and other voices to be communicating that modern attribute of Scotland, all these growth sectors that are emerging. And people need to know that. And when we talk of trade, it's important for the United States as it engages with the UK to understand that the UK is comprised of these unique economic markets, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, etc. I think you most effectively trade and understand the business climate when you better understand what the individual nations that comprise the UK have to offer.
And you talk about, modern situations and modern technology, etc., and inward investment. Something maybe not seen in that light, but equally as important is whiskey and the issues around whiskey and the import and export of whiskey. That's been not completely smooth sailing in recent years?
No, it has not been, and that's been quite unfortunate. But I think we are now, as you speak of smooth sailing, we're in calmer waters now. We have more direct resolution on that particular front. It should have never happened from my perspective, my point of view, but unfortunately it did. And it cost a great deal to Scottish companies. Families were impacted to the tune of £500 million. So it was a significant loss. But there we are. We move forward. I think we're in more positive territory. And it was so vitally important that I think the United States understood how deeply that particular issue not being resolved was impacting Scottish communities. And so therefore it's such a positive that it has been resolved with the Biden administration engaging directly with with UK negotiators, but also listening, I think, more carefully to how Scottish communities were being impacted.
That is Ian Houston, President of Scottish Business Network US. He spoke to me from Washington, D.C. just before we came on air.